Well, hello, all of you yummy, delicious, gorgeous, awesome, sensitive. Well, you're just the bomb. You're all that in a bag of chips. Organic, of course, and not genetically modified. I'm in green today. I put green on my eyes. I wrapped myself in green because I was just feeling like it was a green day. You know, green is a healing color. I love to surround myself in green. Green is also one of the healing colors we associate with the heart chakra, which is the fourth chakra. In core energetics, the heart has two aspects. It has low heart and high heart. Sometimes I like to use a combination of pink and green because those are the colors of Kuan Yin. Absolutely love it. My goodness, folks. Thank you for your patience as we cleared a little bit of bad karma. So that is gone. I lost about 400 subscribers and probably deserved it. But I had conflict with certain people and they wouldn't meet with me. So I had, and it went on for years and years. I was getting picked on. I was getting picked on by a bit of a bully. It was quite painful. It went on for a very long time. And this particular individual who had, it moved on to YouTube. So eventually, because he would not respond to emails or attempts to handle it privately, that was unfortunately what I had to do. So I apologize. It's all over. And then we had a troll problem. You know, I've been having a heart-to-heart with Sheila, who's my best bud. And we tried to follow the example of the royal family. We never complain. We never explain. We just go high, go high, go high. And that's been she and I are like on the same level. We try to meditate and pray before we go on a show. We try to get ourselves in a good headspace. But, you know, we have good days and bad days. Anyway, let me give gratitude. I've got so much gratitude that I have to share. I have received some beautiful gifts from people, and I want to give gratitude about that. But before we get started, let me start by welcoming all of you who were kind enough to spend your brunch with me. And we're going to start with Susan Urosevic. Jem Pasaki is stepping down early. I thought she was going to spend a year there. She agreed to a year. Well, a lot of people leave their businesses and they leave their, they have careers and they can give an administration 1 year, but after that, you got to go back to your law office or wherever you're working. So that's the main reason I think people who are on a very high level, consultants, et cetera, they can give the White House a year, maybe 2 years, but eventually they want to get back to their firm or wherever. And I think that's more than likely what's going on with Jem Psaki, but I'm more than happy to throw cards on it. Hi, Melinda Dutcher. Spiritual growth spurt. Yeah, that's kind of what I went through, Melinda. I think that, sometimes it can be violent. In the Hindu tradition, it's called Durga or Kali, the Kali energy where she stomps on the skull of her husband. It can be very violent and very disturbing when Kali comes up. For me, Kali came up right around the time of the pink moon. When the pink moon started coming, everybody started feeling all this agitation. I'm not an astrologist, but I kept contacting astrologers and what's happening to everybody because there was this building Kali energy. It was an energy of destruction and anger, and particularly it was directed at toxic masculinity. Not healthy, good people, but like the toxic masculine, the Matt Gaetz and Julia and all of that. And so I think there was a lot of shakeup. And so a lot of readers have just started exploding because they're empaths, and so they're just exploding left and right as they assimilate all of this Kali energy of destruction, where we're just tearing down the old model of picking on vulnerable people, picking on the LGBTQ community, picking on women, picking on survivors of child abuse, people who've been vulnerable. There are bullies in this world. They just look for people to slap around. And so, yeah, I think a lot of people, the Kali energy is coming up, and it's also the time of the King of Rods, right? The King of Wands, Yehuda, the righteous leader who kind of calls stuff out. Same with the Queen of Rods, the time of the Queen of Rods, strong leadership, non-apologetic females. I got a reading on the remote view. I apologize if anyone can remember her name. She's a Native American shaman, but she said that I would be working a lot with the energy of self-respect. And I learned something the last couple months. I learned that self-respect is not ego. Self-respect is what Kali, what the divine feminine wants for all of us. All of us should have self-respect and be able to stand in our power and not feel that we are obliged to be the victim of a bully. So self-respect and ego are not exactly the same thing. All right, so we have a lot of remotes. Hi, Judy Malley. Hi, Marie Henson. If you need to reach me, Marie, about anything, you can write me at whimsyanderson@gmail.com. And thank you, everyone who's become a member. People had asked if I could make the salad recipe. I made the salad. It was beets, etc. It's an Ayurvedic salad, and I put it on the members channel. It got 1 view. Everybody was like, "We want the salad recipe. We want the salad. Make your salad." So I made the salad. Nobody looked at the salad recipe. It's a very good salad recipe. All right. Thank you, S. Kim. I appreciate that donation very much. Hi, Marie Wells. Oh, thank you for being you too. Hi, Douglas, moderator extraordinaire. Hi, Cardiomancy Mesquite. All right, let's get gratitude to everyone who emailed me. I have a couple and sent gifts. I want to show you this beautiful gift I received from Marie Scarpelli. Marie Scarpelli, look at what she did. Look at how beautiful this is. I have not tried this yet, but oh my God, how beautiful. Thank you so much. I have to send her, I think I'm going to send her a thank you, and I might send her a tea or something, but it's a wrap that you wrap around you, like, I don't know, it's like, I love it. So that is from Marie Scarpelli. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a nice note here from someone. Wait a minute, hold on. I can't really read this, but all right. So I'm wearing my contacts. It's making it hard for me to read. So thank you, Marie. It was from her birthday. It was for my birthday. I was just trying to see if she, hold on a second, if she was actually making this stuff. Marie is starting the Marvelous Mediumship Movement in Florida. Oh, that'll be cool. It's going to be in Central Florida. Very nice. If you would like to find out more about this program that she's starting for mediums, you can write maryscarpelli@gmail.com. if you would like to join her mediumship program in Central Florida. Also, I want to give gratitude to the lovely person who sent me these bamboo. They're made from bamboo. It's called Bamboo Do. It's put out by Scarves and Things. If you are looking for some, and you want to support a business that's eco-friendly, because I'm trying to, whenever possible, to only purchase things that are eco-friendly and to support people that are part of the green economy. So this Bamboo Do by Scarves, if you would like to support a company that is eco-friendly. Make sure I've gotten thank yous to everyone here. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Is that everybody? Okay, I got this person. Just want to make sure everyone's been given gratitude who deserves gratitude. All right, if I did not get to you, then I apologize. I try to have everything organized. All right, is everybody ready for the remote views of the week? We've got a lot of remote views to get through. It's complicated. We're going to have to do some blitzes on it. All right, the main thing I want to talk about today is Robert Mueller. I did a remote last night, and specifically, I want to talk about Robert Mueller and Rod Rosenstein. Okay? Welcome, Melinda, to Fairies and Angels. We have a lot of fun at Fairies and Angels. We do, we make mischief, yes. All right, so basically, this is the first thing. Okay, so I work backwards. So if I see energy is located in a particular area, then I will work backwards. As you can see, this is what a remote viewer using HCRV technique. This is what one of our mind maps looks like. And as you can see, I have several targets I did. And so here's another target. So I will find the target, and then I will see a disturbance, and then I will try to figure out what caused the disturbance, and that will pull me to the origin of the disturbance, and then that will pull me to the origin of that disturbance, and back and back and back. Does everybody see this? This is a kind of an advanced form of HCRV. This is when you get into levels 2 and 3. Right now, people are just graduating from level 1, but this is when you literally start tracking energy back. All right, so what it looks like happened is that Barr took over the Justice Department, and when Barr took over the Justice Department, there were whistleblowers that noticed that Barr was aiding and abetting and thwarting the investigation on number 45. Now, a memo has come out that Bill Barr was communicating with, it appears to be members of Trump's defense, assuring them that no matter what the Mueller report says, he's going to get off. Somebody leaked that. Somebody from inside the Justice Department leaked that to the prosecution. The prosecution then basically presented it, and the judge now has ordered that it be unsealed, proving that Barr was basically biased. So that's the situation we find ourselves in. Now, the remote, when I went into the remote, about 2 weeks prior to the break, it appeared to me the target I had was whistleblowers from inside the Justice Department. I have to attach to someone because HCRV, you have to attach heart to heart. So it appeared that the person that I had locked onto was a whistleblower who had observed meetings that were taking place between Barr and members of Trump's prosecution. And that is in violation of a ton of different rules. You can't have private meetings off the books that are not being documented with the defense of the person who's under investigation. So that is what appears to have happened based on the remote. So it also appears that one of the people that was disturbed and frightened by this behavior, contrary to what people think, was Rod Rosenstein. So what appears to have happened is that Rod Rosenstein took data, information, including possible memos, and then he brought them over to Mueller. There appears to be a series of meetings that are about to leak. I always love leaking something 2 weeks prior or a week prior. Don't you guys love getting the news early? That's what I love. I have to admit, I love it because I believe in HCRV, and it's just so cool. So basically what has happened, what appears to have happened, is that Bob Mueller was meeting at Rosenstein's home privately, unbeknownst to the Justice Department. All right. At that point, over a couple of months period, communication took place between Rod Rosenstein, FBI people, and also Mueller secretively it appears to be, again, at Rod Rosenstein's home. And there was, they handed documents or information about this type of secret communication that was going on. And at that point, Mueller and the prosecution started a second investigation. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor now. Let's talk about the first remote, and then I'm going to take you to where we're at right now publicly. Does anybody have any question about the remote so far? It's getting interesting. Mueller, yes, I did do a remote, and he talked to me. He had shoulder surgery. He had something going on his right shoulder, probably from tennis. He's athletic, and he was physically exhausted, and he was a nervous mess, but he felt much better after he rested, according to the remote. Why did he stay? Because it was an active investigation, because Barr had been compromised. So they couldn't trust Barr. So they were meeting with Rosenstein. Okay, so at the meeting with Rosenstein, they got the documents, including the memos, et cetera, which are currently in the possession of the prosecution. Now they're forming grand juries, grand jury for Giuliani, et cetera, et cetera. I want to get back to Mueller, because here's what was going on with Mueller. As I had said in previous remotes, the main investigation was the money. Does everybody remember that? That the investigation was not the Mueller report. It was what was not included in the Mueller report. Okay. So when Mueller got into the report, when he went into the investigation, he subpoenaed Weisselberg. Does everybody remember him subpoenaing Weisselberg? And was everybody surprised that Weisselberg was not mentioned in the Mueller report? All right. That's because that was the investigation, right? So what he did is he subpoenaed Weisselberg. Weisselberg had immunity for some of the investigation, and Weisselberg had the books. Now, the other thing that Mueller did is there was a basic, they went into the National Enquirer, which was doing catch and kill, and they basically got the guy, Pepper was his name, to cooperate from the National Enquirer. That took them into Giuliani's office, etc. So that's what Mueller was really up to. He was taking information about Weisselberg and about illegal financial dealings and about working with Giuliani, and how Giuliani and other members of the defense were working with Barr in order to clear Trump. And that's when all of these new investigations started to come up. Does everybody see that? Pecker. Thank you, Deb. Pecker. So now we can look from that place at some of these investigations. So let's go. We have an investigation on Alan Weisselberg through NYPD. Those documents were handed both to the feds and to NYPD, based on what I can figure out here, through Mueller. This led to more information being handed over to the IRS and the FBI. I know. It's got to hurt, right? This also led to Michael Cohen. When he was in prison, I had a remote view that he was placed in a van and he was taken to the NYPD where he gave depositions regarding this. It's getting rather interesting. All right, so now we have the IRS, the FBI, the NYPD working with Mueller and Weisselberg cooperating, Pecker cooperating on these catch and kill and blackmail schemes. Now that's where Giuliani got in trouble, because once they had that information, Giuliani was then raided. So the FBI continued the investigation privately based on data that Mueller had collected. In addition to getting access on catch and kill, bribing, blackmail, etc., they found out that Giuliani was in communication with people through the Ukraine, that this was part of a Ukrainian pro-Russian groups that he was communicating with. This is the same group that were part of the Little Putin Island in New York that were buying up property and compromising people so that they could have control over the financial sector. If you compromise the people with the money in the financial sector, you rule the financial sector. Does everybody see that? So they caught the communication. And this is what I mean. And this is the fear that you see in the eyes of Rosenstein when Barr is talking about how everything is kosher. And Rosenstein's like, knows that 4 months previously he had begun meeting secretly with Mueller's team at his home. Do you have any idea what a personal sacrifice that was? He was also getting documents to Nancy Pelosi. You know who Rosenstein reminds me of? Snapes. Yeah, he's like Snapes. All right. We'll go ahead and finish up that remote, and then I'd like to move on to the next remotes. Anybody have any questions? Can you believe this? I've been going down and looking at these documents for 3.5 years now, 4 years. I know, Douglas. Can you believe how much crap we had to go through? It's a lot of work. I miss my friend Mark Rhodes because he's a good guide. He really, I get more work done when I have somebody helping me. It's a lot more work when you have to do your own mind map and nobody's there to kind of direct you. But so that's basically this remote. You can follow the streams of energy from the remote viewer if you take a look at this. Can everybody see it? I'll just hold that up long enough for people to follow the energy streams. Snapes was from Harry Potter. He was one of those creepy, oily people, but in the end, he was working for the good people. So in case you're wondering, the whistleblowers and how the documents got to Mueller and how this is all breaking now, this is basically the energy stream. There were a handful of whistleblowers that trusted Rosenstein, a woman, like an assistant to Rosenstein that he trusted with his life, that helped him, by the way. That's the female that I was telling you about. Okay, are we ready for the... You know, he was exhausted. It's a lot of work. Yeah, Rosenstein. Yeah, I think it took a lot of courage to do what Rosenstein did. My God, he put his life on the line. All right, next remote. The next remote was actually Target 1. I did it a couple of days ago. You can see the remote here. This has to do with the pipeline that was shut down. They found out that it was Russia. When I went in, it looked like it was retaliation for the fact that the Americans are attempting to shut down Putin's pipeline. Does everybody remember from a few years ago when every time I would throw myself into a remote with Putin, he would always scream and rant and rave about trade to the point where eventually we had to stop going in because it was so repetitive? So it's the oil. It's always about the oil. It's about the trade. It's about his pipeline. It's about the fact that the pipeline's going all the way in Germany. It's about the fact that American business is going to cost a ton of money. Got to stop the pipeline. So we're trying to shut the pipeline. We're threatening countries that are going to buy oil from, if you buy oil from Putin, America's going to get you. Putin's arguing, no, you can't do that. That's in violation of international, blah, 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 blah. So we know the story. So they shut our pipe down. You're going to shut our pipe down because we're hacking and we're screwing with his pipe. Oh, you're screwing with my pipe, but let me screw with your pipe. You see how this is going? And on and on and on and on and on it goes. So the pipeline, somebody asked me to put it back up. So I followed the energy. First, I went to the pipeline. I saw that it was shut down. And then I was one with the target of the energy, and I followed it back to a group of people that were retaliating, and it had to do with the pipeline. This is so way beyond me. I don't know enough about international law, or I'm just a remote viewer, man. My job is to go in and tell people what I see. If it's of benefit to anybody, then, but yeah, it was a retaliation. All right, the second one, going back to the Mueller report, believe it or not, I went back to the Mueller report, Target 2 Mueller report, and it looks like the main thing that Mueller landed on, again, was the boats. It's these mega yachts that are able to communicate and operate outside of the purview of intelligence agencies, feds, etc. And it's all about getting information about what they're up to on the boats, and it's all about international trade, power, etc. So it's kind of like going full circle from the first remotes we did a few years ago about following the money, international trade, triangular trade, child human trafficking, drugs, hiding money from the Fed so you don't have to pay taxes through cryptocurrency. And that's basic. And the sad thing here is that Mueller followed the investigation, as I had mentioned in the previous remotes. He followed it all the way to the steps of the Capitol, basically, to members of Congress. Oh my gosh. What do y'all think? Can you believe this stuff? It's intense. Yes, I want to go ahead and put I want to replace that pin with what Lama is saying, Bryant, that, from Putin's perspective, if he can't get his trade out, it's war. What we are doing by blocking his pipeline, Turkish stream. What's amazing is how little information the American people get. They're just told Russia is bad, America's good, we've got God, they don't. And instead of, hey, did you know that we're messing with his pipeline? And he's got a pipeline that goes all the way from Russia into Turkey, Ukraine, Hungary, Germany, and we've been messing with it? I didn't know that. Well, that's what this was. Jeff Bezos, he needs that mega yacht with the so he can be a world unto himself as well. And since his wife no longer wants him, he can hang out on his mega yacht. He's a sad person. All right, so those are all the remotes. And God, I'll tell you, it was exhausting work. That took me a while to get that together. Don't you think come on now? That's a lot of remotes I did over the years. Bezos, a government unto himself with thousands of slaves, right? They don't have basic rights. They don't earn enough money to feed themselves. They don't have health care. It's basically bringing back slavery, eliminating worker rights. Okay, so is anyone confused about what happened, what Mueller did, why the former FBI director, who was on, some MSNBC. Does anybody know the name of the former FBI director? He was also on Morning Joe. He's the one that broke the story that Mueller was back because Mueller had been fighting to get this memo released. Because we didn't know why he was there 4 months ago. It has to do with this in the grand jury, and that's what that was about. No, it wasn't McCabe. It's the other guy. Not Jim Clapper. No, the former guy, not Brennan. He was just on yesterday. The former FBI director, not Christopher Wray. I think it was the FBI director a couple of years ago or something. He talks a lot about counterintelligence when he's being interviewed. Anyway, he let us know that Mueller was back. All right, let's do some blitzes. Do we want to start with the community reading first? And the impasse prayer? Oh, I misspelled that. Try again. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, everyone who's donated. It's very kind of you. Okay. All right. Is everybody ready for their group reading? Group reading starts at 32.389 seconds. We'll do Harry. We'll do Prince Harry. We will do whatever you folks want. It's a lot of... Deb, you're going to do better work than me, right, Deb? People are like, oh, that's so good. Trust me, I'm not that good. Once you get certified, Deb, I see how there are a lot of really psychic people that are in my class. I mean, like far more psychic than me. I'm like, how the heck did you do that? Deb is unbelievably psychic. So is Terry. All right. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the planet, for the people we love, but also to help those we may have strife with. And together collectively, we say, Amen. Gosh, I can't believe... I learned a lot by being a remote viewer. I learned a lot about how the government works, a lot about, this has been quite an education for me doing this type of work. Ooh, Jello and Affleck are hooking up. Good for them. Where we are at right now. Ooh, beautiful. Well, the summer is here. Thank you, Tricia. So kind. Thank you so much for that donation. I do appreciate it. All right. So, this is a time of high energy, positivity. People are starting to take their mask off. We can see here the base of the matter is the Ace of Wands, which is an entrepreneur's card. It has to do with new beginnings. It's kind of like everybody is clearing the old and we're starting now with the new. It's a new beginning. It's also a 1 month period of high activity because I read the wand cards as months. So 1 month would be the Ace of Wands, a time of growth over the next month, and also a time of happiness, joy, and connecting with loved ones and family. You can see here 10 of Cups. People are really being about their business. They're taking care of themselves and really starting to focus on their dreams, their goals, and what they want to achieve in their life. Where we are at right now, Two of Swords. There's a energy coming on for people that we only have so much time in our lives for so many things. Like sometimes I let things get to me too much, and I should really just fly above it and just focus on being about my business and not letting other people bring me down. And Two of Swords is about having a closed heart. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. And sometimes that's not a bad idea if the voices in the outside are discouraging you or making you feel like you can't do things. There's a time and a place when we do sometimes have to cancel out the negative in our lives. So this is a time when a lot of people are just kind of hunkering by themselves, trying to hear their own voice more than the voices out there. What's interesting about this card chart is that I feel for a lot of people, like many of us feel like we only have so much energy to give any situation. If we want to be productive in our lives, we have to give energy to the things that we want. What you want in your life, if you want to be successful in any area of your life, it requires energy. What I see with this card chart is that we are having to make a conscious decision about where we want to put our energy. Gossip, for example, burns energy like nothing. It's like it's like you have a big pile of money and then you poke holes in it and it all drains out. That's gossip. Gossip is a waste of energy. It's not good for your business. So just be very careful about be the adult, be careful about what you allow into your personal space. 10 of Pentacles, inverted, family secrets, things that need to be said that have not been said. If something is festering to the point where you feel like you're being disempowered and you feel like for your own self-esteem, things need to be said with your family, that it's not enough to just get away from them. If you feel like there are things that need to be said, they need to be said, because 10 of Pentacles inverted is about family secrets. So avoiding and then being upset. If you're avoiding a problem and trying to get on and you can't get on, then you need to address it. And addressing it is, I think, sometimes necessary. But there's a little bit of a feeling I have here that a lot of people in the group are struggling with self-esteem, sticking up for themselves, calling out family members. There's a lot of this going on. Calling out people that are just playing games. What is above? A lot of choices. 7 of Cups is about confusion. A lot of people not knowing where they want to go with their lives. What's my direction? And what I sit in, strong ethics. Judah, right? Judah was Judah is the perfect judge. He was the head of the tribe, and he teaches us leadership, and also he's a very mature leader. This is a time in your life where you can decide to lead or not. It's also the time of power and rejoicing, particularly female power, Have some fun, people. Go out and enjoy your life. If you are vaccinated, then maybe take that vacation you wanted to take. But a nice Three of Cups moving in, which is a celebration. There's some nice energy coming in for June. Where we are at right now, serious. Oh my goodness, so many of us are serious. Four of Pentacles is a frugality card, so people are concerned about their finances, but it's also a Buddha card. It has to do with self-examination, taking a hard look at ourselves. What is around soulmates, lovers, people, connections with people from the past. We could find ourselves being reunited with people from the past, or resolving conflicts we have with people from the past. Our hope and our fear at this time that we will have the strength to walk away from the things that no longer serve us. Isn't that an interesting thing to be fearful of? And the final outcome for the group, Seven of Wands, fighting the good fight, the defender of the land, taking the high road. Never compromise your truth in order to solve a conflict with another person. That's the message, because you have the King of Cups, which is the great mediator, the bridge over troubled water, who helps a situation. So this is somebody very honest, very straightforward, very loving, but they're giving it to you straight. In plain words, this is the loving friend that says, honey, I have to tell you the truth. You're a real asshole. You know, it's like the compassionate person you can be a compassionate person and have self-esteem. You can be a compassionate person, but know your worth and not be a doormat. Standing up for yourself is not ego. It's just saying, I'm not going to be a doormat. I know my worth. That's a lot of people are confusing female self-worth with ego. And every time women or men stand up for themselves and say, you know what, I don't appreciate that, there's always going to be that person saying, ego. When you're getting beaten up and being treated like a doormat, and you know you deserve to be treated like a human being, that's not ego. That's self-esteem. So the fact that King of Cups comes in, the great mediator, with a Four of Swords, Four of Pentacles, looking hard at your situation, compassion, but it's also a time of honesty. You can see also moving on from the past, hopes and real concerns about faith in yourself, hanging up conflicts with others. Have faith in yourself, be about your business, focus on your goals, try and get organized, and cancel out the negative voices. And if people are still negative and it's causing that much of a disturbance, then you need to sit down with that individual and create some boundaries, say what you have to say, and then after you've said it, you can terminate the relationship. But if that's unfinished business for you, that's going to help you move on, because the final outcome for this group is to put the past behind you. Unfinished business with ex-partners, etc. This is that time. Particularly if your self-esteem was affected. And that's kind of what I did the last couple of weeks, but evidently a lot of other people, we mirror each other. A lot of the time we're all going through the same thing. So that is, okay, see you soon, Noel. So that's basically the reading for the group. We're establishing boundaries. We're focusing on our own stuff. If things need to be said, they're to have closure, go ahead and say them. Sticking up for yourself is not ego. It's called self-esteem. Being abused is not spiritual. There's nothing spiritual about being abused. Hi, Michelle. What's going on with you? Let's do the blitzes now. Not Andrew McCabe. And you know what? Now I got to figure out who this guy was, because it's like, that's not exactly a throwaway comment, is it? That's not a throwaway comment. No. What do you mean? Let me find out. Let me find it. See, now you guys got me curious. Okay, it wasn't McCabe. It's not Christopher McCabe. No, I don't think that was, he was somebody that was working with the FBI. I'll figure it out. It's not James Comey. Maybe it was Commissioner or something. You know, he's got brown hair. He parts it on the side. He's always on Morning Joe. I think I can't remember. Frank Fagluzzi. Frank, how do you say his name? Frank Fagluzzi. Frank Fagluzzi broke the story that before the memo came out, the thing about the memo. Frank Fagluzzi, thank you. Yeah, he broke the story on Morning Joe. Hello. I only had one cup of coffee today, so maybe that's the problem. All right. So blitz away. Yeah, Fagluzzi. Thank you, folks. All right, let's see. I should be like that. I should be like, I don't start a blitz until I get the order. Blitz away. All right, let's see if we have some questions. Liz Cheney. Yeah, Liz Cheney kind of went through that. Okay. I don't see any questions just yet. What's going on with voting rights? Okay, so we have a question from Janice Modeste wanting to know about the future of voting rights in the U.S. Let's go ahead and have that be the first throw. The future of voting rights in the U.S. If the moderators could help me see the questions, that would be great. Thank you. It's about money. It's repeating from last week. It's saying the same thing it said last week. We don't have to worry so long as we have organized boycotts because the power lies with us. You can see here it's about the business world. If the business world is seeing a heavy financial blow due to supporting blocking voters' rights, also, I think that it's very possible that I got a hit on Liz Cheney that she will probably be heading the minority leader in Congress. I hope they're not going to be majority, but it's probably going to be minority leader in Congress in 2022, I think. I don't think that she's going to be out for long. It feels to me like she comes back. And it feels to me that in 2022, a lot of pro-Trump people will not be reelected. And so what happens is there's a change in the balance of the Republican Party in Congress in 2022 because people are moving away from Trump and because it's costing money. So that is why I think this, and they're moving towards the green economy. You know, some people, even though you don't like them, they saw the writing on the wall. Some of the Republicans that got out early and got into medical marijuana. Paul Ryan, etc. They saw the writing on the wall. Whether you love them or hate them, they knew precisely where the Republican Party was headed, and they jumped ship years ago. Those people are going to be rich. So it ultimately gets back to the money and the businessman. And here we have profits, money and profits. Money. Hit them where it hurts. We will never have to worry about voting rights so long as we maintain well-organized boycotts. The answer is in well-organized boycotts. That's the answer. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Tammy. I'm so glad that I could help. Okay. All right, here's another question. Thank you, Michelle. This question comes from Tammy James. Will there be a food shortage in the U.S. due to climate change? It's a really good question. I have a greenhouse. I have a greenhouse in my kitchen. Yeah. It's sitting in front of my bay window. Yeah. So if there's a food, I'm growing 3 or 4 different types of plant proteins. I've got peas, green beans, bush beans. Yeah. If the world fell apart and I was just stuck here for a couple of months because I've got seeds, it's wild. I've got seeds. I rotate. I also collect seeds. If I eat a strawberry, I cut off the tops and I plant the tops so I have continuing strawberries. You can go off grid in a studio apartment in downtown major city. Anybody can do it. I mean, not off grid, but independent. I'm trying to become as independent as possible. You can even collect rainwater on there's a lot of fun stuff you can do. People throw out paper boxes. Don't ever throw out a paper. You know what you can do with a paper box? You can grow potatoes. You wrap it in tin foil, the paper box, load it up with a bunch of dirt, throw your potato eyes in it, and leave it out and water it. You got potatoes. You don't have to buy anything. Just use a paper box. And then you break down the paper box, you take out the potatoes, and you use another paper, you transfer and do another paper box. Isn't that cool? You know what I'm using as planters? You know what I'm using as planters to grow my food? Milk cartons. You take a milk carton, you slice the top, you fill it with dirt. You got 3 lettuces pulling out of a milk carton. All you need is the seeds. I'm making compost. I bought 100 worms. It's so much fun. All right. The future of food in America. Huh, interesting. More independence. They're suggesting that more people independently grow their own. It's actually exactly what I said. For example, you can buy a small greenhouse on Amazon for less than $100. And you can just put a greenhouse up in your backyard, and it will supply enough food for you and your family for the, vegetables for the whole year. So you have here as the base of the matter, which is Page of Pentacles, which is financial investment. So it looks like they're also going to be investing in, different ways to grow food. What's happening in South and Central America will be happening in the southern United States in the coming years with global warming. But you have, first off, the Hierophant, which is the ethos card, right? It's the ethics, how we look towards God and spirit. So there's an ethical dilemma here, karmically. And then you have a financial investment. Vertical farming, which is what I'm doing. I basically took a bookshelf, a wooden bookshelf, and I have all my lettuces and herbs growing on the bookshelf. And then I put the tarp, I put the greenhouse tarp over it, and now all my food is coming out of it. Then I also have my balcony, which is 8x4. And that's, I have two potato mounds. So I'll always have plenty of potatoes. All right, assistance and aid to make sure. So that concerns me, though. Six of Pentacles can also be a poverty card or trying to balance injustice. And then there's Seven of Cups, which is confusion. My concern is that not everyone is going to be aware of the problem. And so people are not going to prepare ahead of time. If people are in denial about global warming, or they're not prepared for what's happening and they don't understand that the problems that are happening there are going to be happening here, you've got this confusion. What is above us, attempts at healing, and then what sits below, the sun coming out, karmically, stress. Best thing is for the scientists or the communities that are concerned with this to come in and try and find a solution quickly, because I'm very concerned about that poverty card. But the good news is we have Queen of Wands moving as the outcome. Strong leadership, strong female power, strong balanced energy. I like Hermes. He is the archetype that brings the elixir or the medicine for the cure. But yeah, real worries and concerns. Large stretches of land that have not been adequately used or farmed that need to be rehabilitated. I was anticipating the scholars coming in. The main issue I see here regarding food shortages has to do with conflicts that are political, people not agreeing to help one another because of political conflicts. And the other conflict has to do with just denial. People in the clouds, stress due to being in the clouds, pretending that it's not happening while someone's there trying to help you. The final outcome, though, like I said, is strong leadership. Five of Cups, though. It's hard to help people that don't want to be helped, and that's the frustration. Like there are governors that want to reject the 1.9 trillion, and much of that is infrastructure and green economy. So they're not helping anyone. They're just hurting people because they refuse to, I don't know what. They're denial or something. It's very strange. So that is what we see. So yes, if you are organized and if you know what's going on, and if you can do your own garden and if you can educate people and share, then we're going to be fine. It looks like a lot of independent farming is going to start happening. Every vegetable that I want, I'm growing. I'm growing everything. I'm growing like 4 or 5 different types of squashes and melons. I've got cantaloupe and watermelon both growing. I've got cucumbers. I've got acorn squash and zucchini squash. And what I did is that when you thin them, they come as sprouts. And so I've been making sprouts. I make a lot of it, and then I eat sprout salads. And then some of them will mature and make seeds so that you can then have another generation. No, it was Frank Faguli who broke the thing on Mueller. He's been covering it a lot. I think he worked with Mueller. That's why he's the main person with Mueller. Right, Frank? Could you? Yeah, I have a couple tomato plants, and I also have a couple pepper plants. I have quite a few radishes growing. Yeah, peas. I have peas, green beans, bush beans. Yeah. All right. This question is coming from Ton 2019. She writes, will Marjorie Taylor ever face consequences for her continued harassment of AOC? Let's take a look. Marjorie Taylor Greene's future. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, be sure and share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification. That would be awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's see here. The future, I'll do a blitz because that way we'll go through it fast. It's an idiot. She's very sure of herself. She's very convinced that they can't touch her. She feels that she has a lot of she's righteous and she feels that she's financially secure. There's some information coming out about her that could potentially create a bit of a problem for her. And there's a 4 of Cups here, so she's not cooperating about something. There's some evidence about her. They are building a case. I think she was more involved with January 6th than she wants to admit to. I want to get a clarification on that. I don't see her being prosecuted. I think that she's got people in high places that are going to protect her. She's right about that. But she may not get reelected. She may just be voted out. Pelosi's investing her. Yeah. Oh, she is? Yeah, that's this. This is the investigation. Grieving in the grave, refusing to cooperate, being taken to a smoother place. She'll either have the opportunity to resign or she'll be voted out. All right, so according to Margarita Romera, she would like to know what is going on with the Arizona audit. Okay, we'll do the Arizona audit, and then after that, we're going to go ahead and take a 2-minute pee break for people, including me. Okay, what is going on with the audit? Aww. Aww. Boo boo. Not only is it going nowhere, but the people that are conducting the audit have done things that could potentially get them in trouble with the feds. It's because this is the property of the feds. This was a federal election, and from what I can understand, federal property was used. So you have heartbreak over the investigation, the dreamer who rubs her lamp, addiction, codependent. They're a little bit out of it, possibly. There's a little bit of loopy, and then possibly facing a jail. not only is this going to go nowhere, but if they keep this up, they're going to start stepping on the toes of the federal government, and the federal government is probably going to step in and pull the plug on this, because you can't just start grabbing the federal government's stuff and saying, well, we're going to do this with your ballots and we're going to do this with your computers. And so it looks like it's something along those lines. All right. So as is our way, after we spend about an hour here, we give everybody a potty break. So we're going to take 2 minutes, let people use the restroom, and then we'll come back. If you haven't done so yet, be sure and share, like, subscribe. If you're trying to get in for a tarot reading with me or a remote viewing, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. All right. 2-minute break. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to use the restroom. Oh, better now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Oh, hi, Tia. Studying privately? No. Well, privately, yes, we have membership. If you're joining HCRV, which is to get certified as an HCRV practitioner, which is a form of remote viewing that empaths do. I think empaths do it naturally, but what we do is we show you how to be organized and protect yourself. So that's the HCRV level 2 empaths. Level 3 is the elders, and that's people that want to learn some naturopathic remedies, treatments, etc. So we teach herbalism. I made a beautiful salad. People said, Whimsy, will you please make the salad? I said, of course I will. I'll show you how to make the salad. So I did the Ayurvedic beet salad. One person watched. Go watch the salad. It's very tasty. Tornado warnings in Texas is. I don't know what to say about Texas. I mean, like every time I go in, it's one disaster after another. Okay, I need my moderators to tell me what the next question is. Do you want us to look at the weather in Texas? I know I'm always saying sorry, Texas, because every time I go in, I see it's going through a lot. It's going through a lot. So let's go ahead. We're going to throw on the weather in Texas. All right. I want to go into the Mueller investigation next, because it's so hot when I go in. Every time I go to Texas, I don't see the same environment. It's like Texas Mexico, and Arizona are going to get changed into a different climate. I assume it's because of what I think Elon Musk is going to change the ecosystem. I think that's what he's determined to do. This looks like Elon Musk and a couple of other people go in and literally change the ecosystem. I know Musk moved to Texas and he's trying to get everybody on the new grid. But you can see here, the magician comes in, positive things, victory, a star appears. They tied themselves in a knot. So yeah, positive, great things coming to Texas, but there's a lot of people that just don't want to go to the new. Yeah, it's a decision. They saved themselves. There are a lot of people in Texas that want Tesla. They want to cash in on this new green economy, and they're not going to be stopped. The economy changed. The old guard, the old way of doing business collapsed, and then a new form of business emerges. You can see it here again. You see? It's going to happen very fast. The people that can't come along, if you don't go to the new economy, they're basically saying you're going to wind up broke. You did it to yourself. You can see the poverty card attached to putting yourself in knots. The only future economy in Texas is the green economy. The sooner you give up the old economy, the better. Because if you hold on to the past, you can see right here, poverty. I thought those were fairly easy cards to read. I don't know if other people got a different interpretation, but that's how I interpreted it. So yeah, the weather is crappy, but they're going to come through it. I think they're going to completely change. I see 4 seasons, and I see it develop. The weather is going to be like Northern California in a few years. That's how dramatically it's going to change. And I think the old salmon runs, they got rid of all those beautiful rivers and streams in California, and the salmon went away. We're going to bring the salmon back in those areas too. All right, here's another question. Thank you, Michelle, for doing this. Ghislaine Maxwell tied to Gates and others in state, federal. All right, so we'll do this, and then do people want to try and find out what records they've got on Giuliani and everybody else, and Weisselberg now, who's do you guys want me to try and access files on that stuff? Because I can access files. I can try and access files anywhere you want to send me, but let's go ahead and look at Ghislaine Maxwell. I just thought it would be kind of fun because we hadn't gone into Mueller's files in a while to see what was going on. Or Giuliani, or Weisselberg, or Cohen, any of that investigation. Really interesting stuff happening in this world right now. Can you believe it? Crazy. Okay, the future of Ghislaine Maxwell and her connection with Gates, if she has a connection with Gates. See, I feel when I go into this energy that Gates is a different generation. It's like Gates doesn't want to hang out with a bunch of old men. He wants to hang out with people his age. So I feel like there's a 20, 30-year age gap. So it's like the same group of it's the same group of jerks, but it's a new generation of jerks. It's not the same generation. If you're going to be hanging out with creepy men doing this sort of thing, you're probably going to be hanging out with other men your age, doing creepy things, like a bachelor party. You wouldn't be a 30-year-old hanging out with a bunch of 70-year-olds. That's not that Gates has a moral problem with what these people are doing. It's just he wants to be a pervert with other perverts his own age. Right? That's the whole fun, right? Same with Kavanaugh. Because the point is to look cool in front of your friends. That's the whole point. The whole point is to joke around with men your own age. And there's almost a homoerotic aspect to this kind of behavior in the sense that it's men bragging to other men so that they can be applauded by other men and envied by other men. And that's Gates's trip. Look at this woman I had sex with. Look at the, don't you wish you could have had this piece of meat? I got this piece. It's that kind of energy. And you just don't want to do that with your old man. You know your old man did it when he was young, but you don't want to do it with your old man. So it has that kind of. Right now, when I lock on the target Ghislaine Maxwell, what's weird is that she is adapting. It feels as if Ghislaine Maxwell is adapting in the sense that, all right, this is what you want from me. All right, this is how you do in prison. I'll just do it. At first, she couldn't adapt. She couldn't follow the rules. Her life was hell. Now, they say, I get it. These are the rules. This is how it has to. All right, I'll do it. I will do it the way that you say because I'm accepting the fact that I'm probably not getting out of here anytime soon. So there's a shift, I feel, in my mind as her, that I'm starting to adapt to this. I'm starting to learn the rhythm of this place, and I'm starting to learn how to follow the rules so that they will leave me alone. That's how I feel as Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm in jail. I've been given an offer to make life better if I simply cooperate. She's going to confess. It's a confession card. She is going to cooperate. She's going to be offered a deal. She is going to enter into a plea agreement or a deal of some type, and then she is going to write out a complete and total confession, naming names, which is what they want. The clarification. It's going to get her out of her horrible situation probably in about 6 months. They're going to move her to a more livable situation as a result of, it's almost like they're making her life hell so she'll name names. The evidence. The deal. Yeah, they got a deal. They got a deal. She's going to agree. She's going to give testimony, and they're going to move her from one location to another, which leads me to suspect that she'll be speaking and being deposed, possibly in more than one state or more than one location. But she's being moved again. You can see that here. Oh, God. People that are that sick are just so, she feels like she was a good, loyal citizen helping the Americans. She was helping Clinton. She went to Chelsea's wedding. In her mind, she saw herself as somebody who was the keeper of secrets, who was discreet, who could supply girls and women and information to the intelligence agency regarding certain people. She could get on the boat. So I think she was truly surprised that after all the favors she did for Britain and Israel and America, in her mind, she thought, there's no way in heck, considering what I've done for these countries as an international spy informant, that they would do this to me. And yet they did it to her. Thank you, Ton. It's very kind of you. It's a really weird head to get into. Yeah. What was sitting on the tarmac 26 times? I don't know what you guys are doing. I always come in late because I'm reading and I always like, what are they talking about? All right, I'm ready for another question if people have another question. Will Wexner face any charges? Probably not, no. Texas has a great future, but a lot of stuff is falling apart because it doesn't work in the new economy. That's all. Oh, thank you, Foggy. I really appreciate that. Terry Rayner would like to know about the stock market. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the stock market next. Shalom Tova. Yeah, we should do Israel. Future of the stock market. Got to do this. Make it all nice. Did she? She was awake. She came and joined us, and then she passed out. Yeah, we were supposed to do Mueller. Okay, we'll do the stock market, then we'll do Mueller. Okay. Yeah, the experts are trying to keep the market from crashing because there's some turnaround that has to happen with the market. You can see the business world coming in. Also, this can be an investigation. It's an FBI card, healing, the finances, and then examination, the hermit. I think what's happening is that they're trying to get control over the market because it's becoming like cryptocurrency. It's just people are gambling on stocks regardless of what the worth of the stock is, and it's creating a lot of instability. The fact that the hermit's coming in leads me to think that they're probably going to be researching ways to create more stability because people are concerned about it. Nothing too spooky right now on the stock market. All right, so I appreciate you too, Foggy. So the next one, I want to get into Mueller and the investigation on Mueller because of the stuff that is coming out about Linda G is so happy. She's like, I knew it. I knew he was I knew he was behind the scenes. I knew Rod Rosenstein was. I knew it. She got it right. All right. What's going on with Robert Mueller? Thank you, Jennifer. I'm not going to do a Blitz. I'll do a Celtic for him. The base of the matter. Basically, what Robert Mueller is saying is that there was an understanding that there was really very little that they could do while William Barr was in the Justice Department. They recognized that it was going to be problematic. It appears that he and the FBI and Rosenstein held on to documents or information that they either did not want Bill Barr to have access to, or they did not want Bill Barr to know that they were collecting data separate from him. According to Frank Fagudlus, whatever his name is, Mueller has stated that it is not true. He's publicly gone on record that he did not leave the final decision to Barr, that Barr lied about that. Mueller said that he made 7 false statements. So one of the false statements was that he had left the decision to Barr, which he did not leave the decision to Barr. So you can see here the treasure trove or a ton of information, and this can be the military or the police. It almost feels like he collected all this data but did not trust the people in charge to adequately handle the data. Or he was also Mueller was concerned that the data would be sabotaged. It literally feels like they took a ton of data and hid it at Rosenstein's house. It's bizarre, and yet that's what it looks like. Walking away in disgust. He walked away from the situation with disgust, and the issue regards the Justice Department. See, we knew that was secretly going on, and they were denying it publicly. The hidden information is coming out. Look at the 4th house. In Hebrew, this is called emunah, or faith. It's believing in things unseen, right? Or the moon energy. The moon lights at night. Yeah, interesting. The Torah, ta'or, to bear light or information. There's a crash that happened. This looks to me like Mueller was stunned by what happened, and it was deeply disturbing to him. So remember when he was like really, he seemed like he was not himself during the hearing. What he sits in is the tower because of the information that was hidden, action, reaction. His past, the sun coming out, and his reaction to it, he's got the goods. Whoops. So 9 of Pentacles is to have sitting pretty. It's also self-esteem, power regarding the information, the wealth, the information, the treasure trove, the police, the Justice Department, a tower explosion. Where he's at right now, he's the star. He's the star. He's the witness. He's the star person. He's also helping with the grand jury investigation, according to Faluji. And it had to do with the fact that he had to come back because his team was the one that had collected the data that led to these arrests, like what happened with the raid on Giuliani. Remember, he had gotten information and cooperation from Pecker and Weisselberg and everybody else, and the money was the real investigation. But it wasn't the only investigation. Corruption in the Justice Department and working with Rosenstein to hide documents, and then coming out publicly that Barr had lied. It was part of the overall conflict that had happened in the Justice Department that had led to him leaving. And it's not true that he cleaned up his investigation. The second investigation that was supposed to open up had to do with Pecker and the money and the blackmail and everything else. And that part was supposed to be shut down or hidden or suppressed. And that's why they took those files and that document and that investigation and were working on it separately outside the Justice Department. It's crazy. I can't believe this happened in our country. Evidence. This is just corruption. It just looks like corruption. It just looks like, oh. Back to the boats. You want to know where Mueller's energy is? It's on those boats. He can't get on the boat because he's fed. He can't leave the land. He's stuck. All he can do is watch. He knows exactly what's going down. It's those, I'm telling you, it's these boats. It's these, we can't get enough. There's only so much information. We can get information from them on land. We can get recordings. We can get phone conversations. But as soon as they get out of reach, we know what they're doing. They know what we're doing, but we can't prove it. It's very frustrating. This is watching the boats. 301. The clarification for him. He's never been in this situation before. You know, Mueller's never been in a situation where literally he's at war with other agents, other investigators, people in Congress, etc. 9 of Wands, pushback. There are a lot of people that are attacking him with what little power they have because they're being implicated. A lot of what they're being implicated in has to do with how they made their money and how they hid their money. I would say, based on these cards, that Mueller and Rosenstein collected tons and tons of information about these types of schemes, and it's probably going to break into dozens, if not more, criminal investigations. That's what I see for Mueller. Okay, wow. So now I'm going to just see the future of Giuliani. Because I never really understood. Giuliani's a weird character. Basically, what Fallucci is saying, Frank Fallucci, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he believes that they are, because of the grand jury and because of Mueller coming out, that Frank Fallucci believes that we could be seeing NYPD charging Trump or members of the Trump organization with crimes. That's basically what he said. I think it was yesterday. So let's do Giuliani first. Oh, thank you, Edie. That's so kind of you. I am very grateful for your support. Thank you, Randy. Cute kitty. So I want to see what's going to happen to Giuliani. That's quite a sticker. That's quite a sticker you gave me, Edie. That's pretty funny. I know. Everyone's covering, Debbie. It's just so weird. But I got to know because they say Giuliani's about to be charged. Frank Faggiuli, does anyone know how to pronounce that guy's name? He's talking like Giuliani's going to be charged pretty soon. So I gotta know. I gotta know. You know how curious I am. I was born the year of the cat. I gotta know. Hi, Fern. What's going to happen to Julie? Oh my God, I gotta know. It'll be a blitz though, because we want to look at everybody. Oh my God, I love it so much. Giuliani first, and then we'll do Alan Weisselberg and all of the Trump kids, okay? He's shutting down his business. This is the first big surprise for Giuliani. His business is going to have to get shut down. I think he could close his business. Six months, something's success in 6 months regarding a stressful situation that's happening very quickly. Confusion, 7 of Cups. I think he may have some mental defect, like He's mentally not all there. 7 of Cups. I think his business is over, and I think he may have a drug or alcohol problem. I know that people have said that Giuliani wakes up drunk or something like that. This is problematic. You can see in the clouds. This can be a strife card walking away. I think his business is finished. I'll do a clarification. It's finished, and the people he was blackmailing are going to turn around and sue him. I think he's going to have heartache. The people who he made unhappy are coming after him, Giuliani. The raid, they got everything. God, he was really cocky. This whole insurance policy thing he thought he had. The only thing that's going to save Giuliani is possible mental illness, Alzheimer's, being out of it. I think he's going to have to cooperate just because you have an Ace of Cups here coming in. It's almost like in agreement not to go to jail, Giuliani's going to give them everything. That's basically what it looks like. This is the guy who takes his key and unlocks, just like what we saw with Michael Cohen, when Michael Cohen had to unlock certain things for people or give them the key. When we did the remote on his raid, this looks like he's going to have to very politely cooperate and just hand over everything, all the evidence, because and if he does that, he might be able to avoid some types of prosecution. However, because of the amount of pain and heartache he has caused other people, it's very likely that he could spend the rest of his life fighting civil lawsuits from people who claim to have been his victim. That's what I see for Giuliani. Okay, so a lot of people want to know, because according to Michael Cohen, the people who are most, they wanted to know in the interview with Cohen recently, who the indictments would be about. There are rumors that there are 5 indictments, etc. Who's the most likely to be indicted? According to Michael Cohen, anybody who had signed documents or were part of the financial scheme that was part of the Trump organization is likely to be charged. So when we did the remotes 3 years ago, when Cohen got raided, he was having a conversation with Ivanka Trump in the remote. And in the remote, he said to her, cooperate with the feds. They already have everything. He said in the remote that they had access to documents that Ivanka Trump's signature was on. So we do know that both she and her husband were deposed and spoke to Mueller, but that information was redacted from the Mueller report. So we don't know the nature of what she spoke about in the deposition. We only know what we were able to get from the remote viewing when we accessed documents from Cohen. But it appeared that it was, if we put the pieces together, what we had accessed from those documents, it appears that what we had fallen on were not just schemes and documents from the inauguration, money that they had taken from the inauguration. It appeared, based on the remote, that she had also engaged in criminal acts, laundering, etc., at the Trump organization, and that her father had encouraged her to sign these documents, so that, unfortunately, number 45's favorite child was the one that signed most of the documents. That's basically how it looked to me as a remote viewer. And unfortunately, that's what happens to you when you have a parent who's a sociopath. They will feed their own children to the sharks. And unfortunately, that looks to be what has happened. So we're going to look at Ivanka next, from the perspective of the case and from the perspective of having been deposed by Mueller, and the fact that that information was redacted from the public. So the public, we don't know what she said. We're piecing it together from remotes and from paper. We're trying to figure it out. Everybody up to snuff? Yeah. You got it. You got it. You're up to snuff. You watch the show. Some of you are remote viewers. Y'all know what you're doing. Okay, so we're looking at what happened when Mueller deposed Ivanka, and we're trying to find out more about these grand juries that Mueller is working on, if Ivanka is going to be part of it. Because, boy, they just sat and waited until Biden or somebody else got into the White House, and they just sat on all that data. All right, so we're trying to find out what Mueller wants from Ivanka Trump, and if Ivanka Trump is cooperating with the investigation. Oh, really, Connie? Well, unfortunately, she may not know what the word means, but she's being implicated in it. So, okay, Ivanka. What does Mueller have on Ivanka Trump? What does Mueller have on Ivanka Trump? This is from the perspective of Mueller. If she was deposed, there is a tremendous amount of security around it. I feel that she has spoken to the grand jury. I feel that she was one of the people in the grand jury that there was a lot of secrecy and people didn't know who was speaking. I believe one of those individuals was Ivanka. I think it's possible that she was definitely deposed and possibly also has been cooperating with a grand jury investigation into the Trump organization based on what I can figure out. So we have temperance, which can also be sobriety or a sober situation or a, sobering up, temperance, balance. And we can also see the karma card trying to get from a rocky situation to a smoother situation. This is starting to feel to me like she is cooperating in the investigation against her father. It goes back to Robert Mueller's mantra, right? Sooner or later. You think you're getting away with it now, but a G-man always gets his man, right? The FBI is patient. They're like the hare, they're like the tortoise and the hare, right? Sooner or later, you're gonna be mine. He just continues to collect the data, and the criminals are celebrating and they're partying, and Mueller's energy is sooner or later, I'm going to get you. Sooner or later, you're going to be mine. Sooner or later, you'll be deposed. Sooner or later. He's the incredible methodical research and patience you get when you go into the energy of Mueller. Very willing to help this individual if this individual is willing to help him. Mueller and his team and the people that continued on after Mueller are extremely patient because they know the way to win a case is to have irrefutable evidence. So if you have an 8 of Wands coming in as the base, I would say that he has an open and shut case at this point. He waited and look, they could have gone early and not had all their ducks in a row, or they could have laid low, continued to have meetings at Rosenstein's home, continue to share information that they felt that Barr was compromised, which is what this is looking like, met with FBI people that they trusted, continued the investigation, had quietly deposed to this individual, and patiently sat back and waited until the inevitable happened, which is that inevitably, whether you like it or not, you're going to cooperate with me. That's what it looks like. There's the offer. It goes back to Michael Cohen. They used Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen called Melania's friend, the woman that had coordinated the inauguration party, right? Cohen was picking up the phone and calling people, right? That's what got in the remote, was he was picking up the phone and calling Ivanka baby girl. He called her baby girl, don't go down. They don't care about you. Cooperate, they've got your signatures. I'm calling you to let you know they got everything. Same when he was calling Melania's friend, don't protect the bastards. They're not protecting you. Cooperate. So that was kind of like a hit for me. Like, okay, so it wasn't just Ivanka that Cohen was calling. He was calling anybody and everybody to see if he could get cooperation. So the offer or the deal. The coin, the juggler, right? The Two of Pentacles is a card that denotes a juggling coin, and I often associate it with tricksters or grifters. The grift, right? Ivanka is chained in a codependent relationship with another individual. This is codependence, action, reaction. What she sits in, addiction, codependent relationship with who? As above, so below, grifting. What sits behind her? The boats, looking to the money coming and going, watching the waters. You guys are starting to get that creepy feeling right now, aren't you? Because I'm getting a creepy feeling. Near future. Confessions, typing it all out, pounding it all out. Ivanka flipped. She flipped. She saved herself. Her husband has a separate deal. Moonlighting. Right? Betrayal, an affair, another lover. She betrayed her father. She's going to flee like a thief. The feds are going to come down, and she and her hubby are gone. Oh my God. Can you believe how horrible these people are? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's pretty. I like what Marta drew. Did you see what Marta put up for us? I like that. Thank you. I like when you guys make pretty things. That's nice. All right. The oh yeah, she flipped. There's the offer. Look at this. She gets to even keep some of her finances. Treasure trove. Her hubby's in a lot of trouble. He might have to do. Yeah, she left. Look at that. She left her dad. Oh my God, I hate seeing this. I'm sorry, but I do. She's going to be okay if she cooperates. You know what? This is almost like a witness protection thing at this point, right? You know, you got the 10 of Cups as the outcome, but you got to flee and get away from the person you're in a codependent relationship with, the grifter. You're giving. This is like a confession card. Woo! She flipped. See, I always see Jared going to jail, but not her. And I see a child around her a lot. I'm curious about Jared now. Y'all want to see what happens to him? It looks like she's going to get away with it because she was a star witness and because of the amount of cooperation. She has, based on what I'm seeing here, she's been actively cooperating with this for a while. That was why it was redacted from the Mueller report, because of this. Because this is the investigation that got redacted from the Mueller report. This is the stuff that I was getting for the last couple of years, and we kept documenting, that was redacted from the Mueller report. Okay? Yeah, I know people don't want to hear this from me, but I believe if there's hope for anyone to get mental health therapy and to come out of this semi-normal in the end, even though it's going to be very painful, would be Ivanka. Because you have to be so screwed up to have a father like that, and then to be so brainwashed that you're actually signing documents and putting yourself in a situation where potentially you could be in prison for life just because you want your daddy to love you. And that is a level of neurosis it's going to take years to come out of. And also to come to terms with the fact that your father betrayed you, and so now you betray him. That's deep. Those are deep wounds. Those are very deep wounds. All right, let's look at Kushner. What happens to him? I think he will do jail time. I mean, because Khashoggi, that was a murder. If he in any way, shape, or form, he should be charged with murder or something. I don't know, but let's look at Kushner next. All right, Kushner next. Can you believe we went full circle with this thing? 3.5 years, and now it's finally the documents are getting released. All right. What's going to happen to Kushner as a result of the Mueller's investigation? We're just focusing from Mueller's perspective. What happens to Kushner as a result of Mueller's criminal investigation? Oh, yeah. Gosh. Oh boy. You know, it's possible that there was some kind of a raid or that's already happened, or something happened and it was, oh, she wants to be in the energy. Okay. Something happened where I have to move it because she wants to sit on the table. There was some police action. There is some police. Look, I don't know if one of the properties was raided, but the police action has already happened or is about to happen, and he has to walk away from something as a result. Y'all see that? I'm a little confused about why they would sell vaccines to Israel. There's something about that, but Israel created their own vaccine. I don't know. We can look into that if you like. Okay, where Kushner is right now, typing out a confessional, possibly getting his facts together. He feels he has a strong case. There's the feds. He feels that he can work out a deal with the feds regarding some investigation. There's the evidence. It's coming out of a case of evidence by federal prosecutors. There's the treasure trove. You can see the feds. Federal hidden agenda in the fourth house. The treasure trove here. Where he's at right now, he's cooperating with federal investigators. The lover's just like his wife. The other in relationship to him, confused. I don't think Trump knows the extent of this cooperation. the hope and the fear, where the case is headed, the final outcome for him, family secrets, the clarification for the future of Kushner. He could decide to leave the United States and settle outside of the US, because once the evidence of everything he did becomes public, he will feel that he and his wife are being driven out of the US. It's very possible that they could choose to leave the United States. There is some federal raid or something that happened or will happen. Look, if he has to go to, he either can go to jail, or he can, he will simply leave the United States. He'll turn state's evidence. He will supply all the documents and legal information to the feds in exchange for being allowed to leave the country. It almost looks like that. He can either leave or go to prison. Look at this evidence from the feds. Here's the raid. All right, so we have one more question we're going to be doing, because we've already gone on for 2 hours. We do have 1,120 people watching. I am honored and privileged that you think I'm that interesting, and I think you're interesting too. So if you could share, like, and subscribe, that would be awesome. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, that would be great too. You can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. If you need to see me for a telemedicine appointment, I am a naturopathic doctor. You can go to drwhimsy.com. That's spelled out DOCTOR, whimsy.com. All right, so we're going to do some entertainment now. People asked if I could take a look at Prince Harry. I heard his radio interview, and he talked about his anger problem and how his wife had told him to go to therapy because of his anger. And when I had done the remote, that he had said that he had an anger problem. But what was interesting was that I don't know if I can speak to the dead. People often ask me to speak to the dead. I think what I collect are the memories that the people had perhaps when they were alive. But Princess Diana's memories perhaps were what we were connecting with, or it could be her actual spirit. I don't know, but the information is definitely there. But what Princess Diana said in the remote is, she said, when Harry was a little boy, he would get so angry. She said he would scrunch up his face. She used the word scrunch. I guess that rather nice word, scrunch, and put his little fist in a ball. And she said he was so angry that it frightened her, and she felt that it was due to the tension in her marriage and everything that she was going through with her husband at the time. And she thinks that it had a negative impact on Harry, that he's always had a temper. So it was kind of interesting. I was listening to the podcast, and he said, this is not anger that he has. He said, this is blind rage. Like it's like, it consumes him. And I know, because he and I both have complex PTSD. It can be like that. It consumes your entire body, complex PTSD. So I'm just glad he is. So I now see why he came to me, because I did not pursue a remote view relationship with Prince Harry. But now I see why he was so easy for me to access. It's because he and his wife really feel like things cannot get better until you just are transparent. And therapy talks about being transparent. And so that's what he's doing. He's being completely transparent about everything. And when you do that, the people that are hurting you, they lose power because you're being completely transparent. And I think that that's why he was an easy person for me to get information on. If somebody's trying to cover things up, like William Barr, it's almost impossible to get data. With William Barr, I was using what I consider pretty advanced techniques in HCRV. It's what we teach in levels 2 and 3. It's what we call making love to the target. We're going to talk about it Tuesday in class for people that do take the HCRV class. Making love to a target is when you lock on to the target and then you just send love, 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 and you start asking details from the target. When I do that with William Barr, I get nothing, right? Because HCRV is based on free will. If someone wants to talk to you, they'll talk to you. If someone doesn't want to talk to you, they don't want to talk to you. But yeah, Harry's an example. It's not that I'm special. I really want people to realize all you have to do is HCRV. He'll talk to you too, because the nature of this individual is that he's transparent. It's not me, it's the technique. All right. So let's go ahead and see how he's doing. He and his beautiful, beautiful wife, and congratulations, they got a child coming. Beautiful people creating a beautiful family. And I love the fact that they're helping people who suffer from mental illness. I think that's so brave of them. Okay, let's take a look. See, I complain about a few trolls on YouTube, but can you imagine how many trolls they have? Yeah, multiply it by 1,000,000. It beats you down. It's hard. It's hard to put yourself out there because, All right. He said he felt like he was in a zoo, Harry. Let's take a look. How you doing, Mr. Harry? Okay, so the first thing I'm picking up about Prince Harry is that he's talking about the fact that what people are kind of witnessing with him is that he's gone from being a boy to a man. He's talking a lot about going from being a boy to a man, that he's become more confident, that he's become stronger in his convictions, that he's become stronger in his sense of self, his beliefs. There's a self-respect and a self-awareness he has now about who he is as a man, what his beliefs are, what his convictions are. Bias, right? The bias that he has because he was raised a wealthy white aristocrat. He's talked a lot about bias, and this is somebody who's openly trying to grow up, openly trying to be a man, openly trying to do the right thing, and trying to do it in as honest and as a transparent way as possible. He went for it. It was like, it felt like he was jumping from a high cliff, he said, into the water, and he prayed. He talked to his mother, he prayed, and he just went for it. The fool takes the leap of faith. It's kind of like he just went for it. People thought he wasn't going to make it. His father didn't think he was going to make it. His father thought that he would just be smacked down and that he would become an obedient child and do what he was being asked to do. But that's not what happened. He dove in and he survived. You also see the Three of Wands, which is about communication across the waters, waiting for your ship to come in. This is a person who is really interested in helping others. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to put the name up. We're doing Prince Harry. Where he and his wife are right now in their lives, work, big financial offers. He knows what he was put on this earth to do. As I had said in previous remotes, he's fascinated by early childhood development, particularly when he watches his son Archie grow, and what can he do to ensure that we create a generation of young people that are healthy and have the best possible chance of success. So that is his call. I've talked about it in the past. And I've also talked about the fact that he's very interested in getting more educated. So we could see him even potentially going back to school to get some kind of certification or additional education regarding mental health and specifically early childhood development. These are the things that I see around him. He's working very hard, 10 of Wands. And he's happy to do it. He's talking about the fact that this is honest work and it's authentic. It's an authentic expression of who he is as a human being. And so for that reason, he feels it's honest work. And he likes carrying this load in the sense that he likes being able to take care, to financially support himself and his family. He feels it's honorable. What is above him? A major decision is being made that he has no control over regarding the firm, the royal family. It has to do with the tower. Since his grandfather's death and the public, they call it the public shaming. That's Kate Middleton. Oh yes, since the public shaming. You did. She's calling it a public shaming, but it's tongue in cheek. So there's, it's kind of like when you go into Kate Middleton's energy. She says, "Come on, folks. We've got some control over our lives. They don't totally own us. We can decide how we want to be remembered in history. Come on now." I like her sense of humor, Kate Middleton, but I like the fact that she brushes this off as a public shaming. I love you too. Yes, you like Kate Middleton as much as I do. Yes, she's a lovely woman. What sits below her? Oh, the tower. What sits below him? The tower. He walked away. His past. He walked away. Harry left. He walked out. The tower. You can see the cards here. And his near future, a stable partnership, and particularly partnerships in business. For example, he's going into business with Oprah, for example, on mental health, child development, etc. His immediate environment, business, he's starting a new business. It's like a new production company and stuff. You can see here, he pulled double aces, and you can see the crossing is regarding his work and partnership. You can see it here. Fun, huh? Yep, yeah, that's right. More work. He's got a full-time job. Power, work. That's what happens when you get clear and you know why you were put on this earth. And that's what's happened to Harry. He's been put on this earth to help people who are suffering, particularly suffering trauma and mental illness. Also, how he feels about classism. How he feels about racism. He was one of the first conversations I had with him in the remote state was that he had zero tolerance for that crap. So I'm not surprised at all that we find ourselves here 3 years later. He's going to be fine. He's going to do good work in the world. He is the king of wands, like he is not perfect, but he steps up to the plate. He owns his actions and he's going to try and help people. I think his future is great. And I do see his partnership strong and healthy. I don't see divorce. People keep talking about divorce. No, they're saying the future is solid partnership. There's this one woman on YouTube. She hates Meghan, and I don't know what that's about. And nothing she's ever predicted has happened. And yet she's got like 40,000 subscribers. But nothing she predicted about Harry and Meghan ever came out that they were going to break up. None of it happened. Now they're happily married. They weren't going to leave. Harry was going to, Sometimes people need a scapegoat. Well, that was a fun day, you beautiful spirits. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do so because I've lost about 400 people when I tore my ex-boyfriend a new asshole. He deserved it. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so Oh my God. It's been a rough couple of weeks. Did people have fun? Yeah, you guys had fun. Thank you, everyone who's become a member. Thank you, everyone who's taking HCRV. Be sure and get your homework in if you haven't done so yet. If you've missed a couple classes, that's not a problem. You can pick up and start all over again. I only ask for 10 hours in order to get Certification 1. If you're continuing on with Certification 2, then we meet at the same time, but I just have you alternate a couple of the activities. You're going to tweak a couple of things when you're working with level 2. All right, we got through it all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the new members. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the support. Thank you for having fun with me. Thank you for believing in Robert Mueller. And gosh darn it, I guess I'll see you soon. I guess, well, for the students, I'll see you on Tuesday. Right. Hey, take my class. Next class is Tuesday at 6 p.m. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye.